Hey everybody, it's Professor Snart here, checking in just after Thanksgiving, so it's Monday morning when I'm recording this. Hopefully everyone had a good break. And we are really right down to the last couple of, I guess, week and a half-ish of the term and a couple units for our course here. So we have pretty much wrapped up the sending part, the drafting and sending part of the whole professional email assignment, kind of the main core assignment for our class. So again, if we look at our due dates here, we spent time doing the fine print, brainstorming stuff, conferencing or going back and forth, kind of talking about the fine print that you found and who to reach out to and sort of how to put the pieces together. We then had a drafting and feedback and sending portion of that email, so you now should have sent it and then posted in the Unit 6 discussion board the URL to your Google Doc where you were actually drafting the email, and then some evidence like a screenshot, which is probably the most common that people would do of you actually sending it. So a screenshot of your email outbox, for example, or if you use some sort of customer service interface on the web or whatever it might be. Then, of course, we took a little break for Thanksgiving, and now we're back for Unit 7, looking at Thursday, November 30th. Notice that there's just the one deadline we have for this particular unit. So it actually has us returning to the professional email, but really as for the opportunity to reflect on changes we made based on feedback that we got. So I'm going to walk people through what that's going to look like. So we're in Unit 7 here, and I call it like a before and after reflection. So basically you're writing a kind of essay. It's not really a full-blown like a research project. So obviously it's just unfolding in the unit that we have here. It's not a multi-unit kind of a thing. The instructions are all here, so I'll go through it really quickly. Think of it as a before and after snapshot of your professional email. So where it first began, some of the early draft phase, and then what it looked like after you got feedback, whether that was from me or from classmates in that feedback portion of the units 5 and 6 there. So we want to be working with 3 specific pieces of feedback. So you're going to work back in your portfolio space, and all of our portfolios are listed in the portfolios link here, so kind of back to your web page. And I'm going to use this just kind of fake web page that I'm building just as a tutorial space. So imagine this is my portfolio space, and I'll come back to that in just a sec. So what we are going to do then is write, again, I've called it an essay, but it's not exactly that. So there's going to be a brief introduction or kind of a paragraph here. This could be all on one page in your portfolio, or you could even build multiple pages. It's totally up to you. So you're going to write just a kind of paragraph here, generally about how you revised your email, indicating what were some of its early weaknesses, generally speaking. And then that kind of sets us up for the body, the main part of what we're doing here, which is where you talk about and actually show how you revised to improve those weaknesses. Keeping in mind that a weakness could be something that is not even really a weakness, it's just something that was, okay in the original email, but you made some changes to make it even stronger. So it's not necessarily something that was a total failure to begin with, that then you turn around to make it a success. So keep that word, don't take it as it has to be like an absolutely drastically bad thing that you turn good. It could be something that was already working fairly well that you made even better. Okay, so the body, the main thing, what we're doing here. So the screenshots will walk you through how you're going to work with your document, but I'll show you kind of in real time here. So I'm in my portfolio space. I'm going to click over to the right here. I'll build a new page for my, let's call it email reflection. Doesn't really matter what you call it as long as it's clear where I can find what I'm looking for. So I have my new page, and then I'll just start with what I want to start doing here. Okay, so here is where I would write my reflection. So I'd start with the body paragraph. Maybe I make that its own kind of thing that sits there. Now I'm going to that's going to be the introduction, sorry. Now I want to start with the body part. So what you want to do is work with 3 pieces of feedback that you got. So you're going to have to go back into your document, and I'm just going to pull a document from my own Google Drive space here, and I'll find the one that I'm looking for is our class, and then I'm going to work with our syllabus. because I know that this document has gone through lots of different, revision stages that I've done. So you'll notice that when you're back in your document here, you can click up at the top and notice again that this is all sort of pointed out in the assignment. So I'm just repeating what's already in that assignment. So here I am in my doc. If I click this little last edit or save changes, whatever the exact wording is, it opens up and you can see it just off to the right of my screen here, all the different versions that I would have had of that document way back when it was kind of like nothing, and then I pasted a bunch of stuff in, boilerplate. Here's where it was literally nothing. Now, of course, I don't want to go back to that version. Even if I did by mistake, I could always restore the current version, the proper version, so you really can't screw up your email document. So what you want to do is find a place where earlier in an earlier version, this would be the before picture. So maybe I would grab this text, for example, and then paste it into my portfolio space as the before example. And in this case, there would actually maybe be nothing, or maybe this is something that got deleted, or again, I don't have a bunch of people that commented on mine, and you will, so that's where you can talk about what feedback you got, like this shouldn't be there, or the wording's weird, or the font is too big or too small, whatever the comment might be, You can talk about that in the portfolio space here. So I might grab one thing, or I could do a screenshot of it using whatever method you like to do your screenshots. Maybe I just grab this, etc., etc. So save it, load it into the portfolio. However you want to get those snapshots of the before. So we need 3 of them. So I might do 1, and then I would load it in here and talk about what changes I made based on the feedback to make that piece of the email or the document stronger, to make it make more sense. And I would simply do that 3 different times, even if you wanted to build sort of like this would be body 1, or we could even call it example 1, and then repeat the same thing, example 2, So this would be my next piece of feedback. So this would be 1 piece of feedback, and then a before and after, and then obviously I'd want to explain why the after is better than the before, and really just repeat this 2 more times for another example, and then another example. Okay, so if we return to our assignment here, again, this walks you through all of that stuff, and then you want to make sure that you publish your page again to update those changes that you made, and then I might even view the published site, and then it's off the screen, but I would grab the URL up at the top. And so the only thing that you have to post in the discussion board is just the URL to your portfolio, whether it's just to the generic home page of it, where I could find your email reflection by clicking into the menu, or if you want to post the URL directly to this, doesn't matter, as long as I can find it updated on your portfolio site. So again, this is an opportunity to reflect on kind of the revision, the feedback and revision process that you went through for your particular email. Showing us both that before and after piece for each example of a particular piece of feedback or comment that you got that you took into consideration, made some adjustments to your email, and then explaining how you think that ultimately improved your email. Okay, so again, it's provided, or screenshots are provided here in the assignment itself. Hopefully this video walkthrough helps a little bit in terms of navigating between that new portfolio space you want to build, the email reflection, and then going back into your doc and using that revision history to see what things looked like early on, and then how you might have changed things. The only difference here again is that your document should have comments sort of up and down that right-hand side, where people in your group from units 5 and 6 would have gone into your doc and then left comments. Again, this all requires that you had the sharing settings correct. Some people I know had to leave just text comments within the discussion board. So if you were one of those people who didn't share your doc correctly, you'll have to go back to that discussion board in unit, I can't remember if it was, I think it was 6, but the units 5, 6 discussion board, to see if people like posted in a discussion board post some feedback for your document. So everybody should have feedback to work with for the portfolio reflection, and you'll need at least 3 different comments that you're working on that led you to make some changes. Keeping in mind that some of the changes might not be huge, massive revisions. They might just be little wording things that, again, make the email a little clearer, a little more specific, a little more pointed, whatever the case might be. But Unit 7 is our opportunity to reflect on that. And then you'll notice that we actually get right down to pretty much the end of our course. Not this week, but next. Things really wrap up for us. Okay? So as always, if you have questions or concerns, be in touch with me, and I look forward to seeing everybody's updated portfolio page.